Welcome back everybody, Kaiser here, and just as promised, here is the variable action heroes Dracule Mihawk from MegaHouse. So right in front of us we have the box of the world's strongest swordsman and Zoro's dream and end goal. So let's see if the box matches all of its hype. From quick glance I can see that the box is totally different from how the Zoro was, since this is the re-release version of the older figure for Dracule Mihawk. I have no idea what has changed between this figure and the old one, but it seems like the box is really different to be the same one as it was back in the day. But I'm not sure. If you guys can let me know, I would appreciate it. But from what we can see a picture of the figure right here, and it's totally black and white with the red accent, which I think looks really great. The front, just like the Zoro figure, you can see the whole entirety of the figure and what are you buying, which I think is really nice. Right here, really small, you can see the name Dracule Mihawk with the name Variable Action Heroes and the MegaHouse logo and the Bandai logo. On the side, you can see, once again, just like the Zoro, you can see Mihawk's Jolly Roger, which is super cool, if I say so myself, with a cool picture in a cool pose of the character. And also the back is totally different from Zoro. As I mentioned, you can see a huge picture of the character. You can see the different faceplate / head that he comes in, and you can see Yoru, the huge ass sword that he has on his back, and a lot of Japanese writing that I have no idea what it says, since this figure was imported from Amy. Here's the famous sitting pose that he does all the time, and we're right back at the start. And before I forget, just like the Zoro figure, I will show you how the box looks in comparison to other variable action hero box, which is in Zoro in this case. The box is about the same size, you guys can see, but it's the same size, but I think the only difference is the thickness of the box. It's not that much difference between the Zoro and the Mihawk, but it's about 0.5 times the amount, so it's noticeable. And I don't think you can put them side by side. I don't think you will look good. Like I said, I think this is a remaster box and this is like an old school box. I don't think they will look good together. But once again, I'm not sure. I may be talking out of my ass, so I apologize for that. And then here it is in comparison to a figure arts box. Here is the Zoro box in comparison to the Mihawk. And as previously seen, the variable action hero is much taller than the figure arts box, and I'm pretty sure it's much thicker as well, which happens to be the case. So if you like displaying the boxes, this is how it looks like. Hey everybody, right off the bat, I do gotta say that as soon as I opened him, the box really had a smell of paint. It's not like the new figure smell. The smell was really strong. I'm not sure if it's the painting on the box or the painting used on the figure. So make sure to, when you get this figure, let the figure air out. Don't keep it in a box for a while, or I feel like that smell is gonna be part of the figure, and that would be really bad. So that's number one. Number two, look at this figure. Look at how amazing it looks. Let's just be honest. Look at the color of the hat. Look at the fluff at the top. Look at his face. Like I said, it could be better. The thing about the variable action hero is that the figures look a little bit cartoonish, if you will, when it comes to the face. But for the only Mihawk figure we have, we got a pretty well darn good one, to say the least. The jacket feels really good. It has the space to put his sword, which is Yoru. The color of his undershirt is very well colored. The design is very well painted into it. There's no smudges or anything like that. I really like that. The black on the outer shirt looks nice. The creases also look good throughout, which makes it look like a real coat. The pants, which is like, is it like some sort of jeans, I guess, looks really well made as well. Like I said, the creases it just gives life to the figure overall. And also the knees, you can see some black wash around it, which shows up some shadows, which I think is really nice. The belt buckle on the leg looks really nice as well. The boots look amazing and different from the Zoro figure review that I did. I do hope you guys go check that out. This is the new release. So like I said, I don't know how it compares to the old release, but overall the detail on this figure looks much sharper than the Zoro does, since that figure was like 10 years old in total. So this one just looks overall much sharper. So maybe that's why they re-released it, so they could touch up the paint and everything and make it look good. So it does. They did a really good job at it. It looks like he just walked out of Marineford or Baratier when he fought Zoro for the first time, and for the only time for that matter. Yeah, the belt buckle right here looks really nice as well. Overall, the figure in general looks really nice. Oh, before I forget, there was a small problem. Not even a problem, I would say, because it was easily fixable. I should talk about this during the articulation, but I'm just going to do it right now before I forget. This thigh joint right here, which allows for this thigh rotation between these both legs right here. They both have this rotation right here. This was extremely tight. I could not move it at all. I couldn't move like this at all whatsoever. And as you can see, there's some water particles over here because I had to dip it into warm water for about a minute or two. And then I removed the leg like so. It's very easy to remove the leg. They're just on this little peg right here. And then you just dip it in warm water like this for 1 to 2 minutes and it should fix itself. You just push this forward and you twist it a couple of times and then boom, it's fixed. You can do that for both legs if that's an issue for you, but I only had that issue on this one leg. This leg right here was perfectly fine. So I just got that out of the way. And one thing also, the muscles on this figure, much like the Zoro, his back muscle, the ab muscles for Mihawk look sharp. Amazing. Even his belly button, he thought it was hidden, but it's right there. Looks really nice. So his head can move left and right without a problem. You can do a 360 even, but why would you do that? It can't really look up because of the color. It's not really hard, but it just, the hair right here at the back just doesn't allow it to go any further than this. And let me see if he has a waist movement to account for this so he can look up. Not really. So he can't really look up that well. How about looking down? Yeah, he looks down fairly well. And I'm pretty sure if you use the waist, yep, he can look about this far down without a problem. He has neck movement as well. So making sure he looks left, right. Every possible way to look, he looks perfectly fine, just not up, which is unfortunate. When it comes to the arm, one thing I found out as well, it's really tight, and the way that they do it is very similar to the figure arts on Zoro, which is you have to drop down this arm a little bit so you can raise it. And then this noise right here that you guys are, I don't know if you guys can hear it, is not a really good noise, to say the least. Maybe I'll need to dip these arms, both of them. This one not as much as this one, but maybe I have to dip this arm into hot water a little bit to loosen up this joint. But I don't really like to hear this noise, and I'm pretty sure if I keep doing this, the paint is gonna rub on this top part right here. Hopefully not. But another thing that you can see is that there is a joint right here. So it seems like there is a way to move this, but with this arm I wasn't kind of able to do that. Maybe because, once again, like I said, the joint is really tight in there. But once I start playing with it, as you can see, it starts showing up again. So I'm not really going to take points off for that. Yeah, but as I said, he can lift his arm about this much upwards, which is cool. He doesn't really have a bicep swivel, which is kind of sad. He has this like shoulder swivel right here, which doesn't account for much. Double jointed range for his arm at least. And I like the fact that they put this design on his elbow to kind of flow between his bicep to his forearm. the design for his undershirt, which I think is really nice. So he does that for both arms without a problem. The hand is on a ball joint, so he does ball joint things, 360, move diagonally without a problem as well. And then once again, once I figure this arm out, I'm pretty sure I'll be able to move as freely as this one, because as you can see, this one shows the ball joint, the ball joint very well, but this one is a little bit tough because I just think this one is tight, just much like the leg. But I'll figure it out and I'll let you guys know by the end of the video. Let me try to fix the arms, because I'm pretty sure he can also cross his arms without much of a problem. Just give me a second, I'll be right back. Like I said, he can cross his arms perfectly well. You just have to finagle with the ball joint. This one is really tight in comparison to this one, but you just have to make sure the ball joint is facing this way so you can cross his arms across like so. But since he doesn't have a bicep swivel, you can't really turn the arms horizontal when you're doing that, which I think is kind of a shame, but it shouldn't be much of a problem. I don't think you would want to put him in any pose like that. Also, another thing that I don't know why they did it like that, but they did it. Both of his arms right here, this joint, kind of doesn't look that good, but just my preference. I don't really get bothered by joints that well, but I know there are some people that do. His pecs looks like it's divided at the top and at the bottom right here to make this V shape. This is soft plastic right here. So you can see the rest of his bottom belly. Like I said, he crunches about this much and he has no problem, literally no problem. I'm pretty sure he can even go 360. Yeah, he can, but I don't know, why would you? But that's nice, since this whole part right here is a soft plastic. So I'm pretty sure the way that they do it is that there's the top. I don't know if you guys can see that. So there's the torso, and then there's a ball peg in there, and then all of this is a floaty piece attached to the waist, and it has a T joint in there which you attach the legs to. Another thing that I think people are going to find really annoying and really ugly is this leg joints right here. You got to make sure they look okay, because otherwise they look like this. They expose the joints a lot, so you just got to make sure he just sits in a pose where he doesn't show the joints like that, which is unfortunate. I don't know why they didn't like Zoro. I don't think Zoro looks like that at all. I think they did it like this with this much excess movement. See, it's pretty hollow in there, so maybe that has to do with it. But I think the reason why they did that is because you can do the famous sitting pose like this, and he does it fairly well. Like, if that's what it takes to make a sitting pose, a character to do a sitting pose this well for a figure, I don't know much figures that can do that and can pull out a sitting pose. You're from Figure Arts. If you're from Figure Arts, all she needed was this sort of joint right here, I would have taken that instead of the whole waist switch. Just like this, he's sitting down. And if I don't want him to sit down, I just have to put his leg down and boom, he's done. That's all I have to do. Although I will try to pose him like in more action poses, if you will, and see if the legs in this type of design can handle the weight of the figure plus the different poses I'm gonna put him in. And like I said, I'll let you guys know. It seems like also the butterfly joint is this piece right here on both sides that they kind of tuck in and move out. And much like the Zoro, I didn't tell you guys during the Zoro review because I forgot, one part of the butterfly pops out more than the other one. I don't know why. It seems like that's a occurring thing with variable action heroes. I'll continue with the legs. Before the legs, actually, the back part of his coat can lift up like so. So it's divided in two parts. It doesn't really hold itself up, but it's soft enough that he won't get in the way. Now let me see. He can easily pull out the splits. Very easily. No problem whatsoever. I assume he has double jointed knees. Whoa! Look at this. This is actually super cool. It looks kind of goofy because of the joint, but this joint is kind of really nice. He gives him a lot of range. He can be in super dynamic poses, and depending on how you pose him, you can hide the joint. You can hide the joints fairly well. So the knees, there's kind of this gapping right here, so maybe don't try to bend it too much, but even this is more than enough. I don't know if this moves around just like, okay, it doesn't move around much like Zoro's. He has a ankle rocker without a problem, a toe hinge, much better than Zoro's, and he goes back and forth without a problem as well. So overall, the articulation on this figure is really, really, really nice. When it comes to the accessories, Mihawk doesn't have as many as Zoro does, but what he does have, it's more than enough, I would say. He comes with 4 pair of hands plus an extra one, which is this fist hand right here, which is very similar to Zoro's. It comes with this hand right here, which is supposed to put it in the knee to make the sitting pose. So this counts as 2 hands. It comes with this sword holding hand, which is for Yoru, and this open palm hand right here, relax hand, if you will. And the extra hand for the right side is this one right here, holding the knife. And he also, this is removable. You just have to remove the head and remove this cross from his chest when you're using this right here. He comes with 1 extra head, which is this one right here, which is our more forward looking one, like I was mentioning, and this side looking one right here. But one thing that I came to find out, I'm like, okay, so I can only have this face right here when I don't have the hat on? No. What happens is you can remove the top of his head, which hopefully I can do it, which I just did right now. Oh, here you can remove the head. He becomes bald, but you can do the same thing here. You just remove this, and what you can do is you can put this hair on here. So now he can look sideways with his normal hair, and he can look forward with the let me put it in there, and he can look forward with the hat, which definitely this is how I'm gonna live him as. And finally, the most important thing, Yoru, his sword, the strongest sword in One Piece, which, as a matter of fact, from top to bottom, it's taller than him, which is how it's supposed to be. You can put it right on his back, like so. And he holds it perfectly fine. And I do have to say, the figure became 100 times more badass. And yeah, this accessory right here is awesome. No wonder the figure doesn't have many accessories, because this is really, really well made. All of the designs, all of the pearls, the black blade on it looks like it's infused with Haki 24/7. The wrapping of the hand and the blue jewel at the bottom. This looks amazing, actually. So this is it for the accessories for Mihawk. So for my final thoughts on the figures, guys, I have to say this figure right here is amazing. Actually, like, this is probably just as good as the Zoro I have. And I also had as much fun on this figure as I did on the most recent Yamato review that I did. This figure is even better at posing. Standing this figure up is no problem whatsoever. This pose right here, for those of you that don't remember, is the same pose that he did on his final attack before he literally destroyed the shit out of Zoro on episode 24 of One Piece. The reason why I put it in this position as well is just to say, look, his legs are wide open, but no matter how I put him, he will always stand up because the coat would hold himself up. This bean right here is nice because it doesn't block any of the articulation, but it also enhances the overall stability of the figure. And then also he can hold, for those of you asking, he can hold Yoru no problem. If I do it like this, see, he can hold it no problem. So this joint right here is actually really good. So I'm just gonna put him back to how he was. And then, yeah, if you're a fan of One Piece, most definitely if you're a fan of Mihawk like I am. I love Mihawk. Mihawk and Zoro are my favorite characters. Mihawk is Yonko level for as far as I'm concerned. People can debate me on this as much as they want to, but I'll fight for it with literally until I take my last breath. Mihawk is Yonko level, bar none. And not only that, I put him in this pose, like I said, to mimic episode 24 of One Piece, which was Zoro's and Mihawk's first encounter. And then here is the Zoro on the same pose that he made for his final attack, which was the 3000 Worlds versus Mihawk. Side by side, they look amazing together. And then if you go rewatch it, that was the same pose that Mihawk was doing before the final attack and the same pose that Zoro was doing. So you can say this is like a reenactment during training, maybe. They threw the same attacks just to see how strong Zoro was. But before that, you guys can let me know what you think. Do you think Zoro right now, where he is in the anime / manga, which is Egghead, do you think Zoro would put up a good fight with Mihawk? Would Mihawk beat Zoro? Would it be like medium difficulty, high difficulty, low difficulty? I still believe that Mihawk would beat Zoro. Zoro still needs a few more power-ups, if you will, in order to defeat Mihawk. But I think Zoro can put a good fight against Mihawk right now. He wouldn't beat him, but it would be like a medium difficulty fight for Mihawk. Nevertheless, I think these look great together. You can put them face to face like so. It looks great. They're about the same height. I feel like Mihawk is a little bit taller because Mihawk is fully crouched down kind of right now, and he's still about the same size as Zoro. So Mihawk is a little bit taller, which is how he should be. And then their swords look great. But I do have to say Yoru looks much better than any of these three swords right here combined. I think that's why he has less accessories than Zoro. And not only that, like I said, this figure was from 10 years ago. This is a reissue of the older figure. So that might be the main reason for that color change as well. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to take Zoro away so it doesn't take the spotlight from Mihawk. Once again, if you're a fan of One Piece, you should get this figure. I'm not sure where even you could get this figure right now. I'm not sure if they still have it on Amy Amy or if they have it on Mandarake now. And if you find it on Amazon, good. Let people know in the comments that they can get it over there. I highly recommend it. And I'm sure any one of you that get your hands on Mihawk is going to enjoy it a lot. Even more so if you have Zoro. But remember, you cannot put them against the figure arts. They are not the same scale. It will look way too tall, excuse me. With that being said, Kaiser signing out. Let me know if you have any questions or if I miss anything. See ya.